Welcome back everyone to another Baseline Magazine special presentation, 31 Days of Horror. Here's our picks from week 2, let's get right into it. Creep is a clever little horror film that utilizes only 2 characters in a limited space to unnerving effect. This is highly recommended to those aspiring to make low-budget horror because it shows that it can be done with quite little. In this case, excellent acting and writing keeps the film from getting dull, making it stand out in the found footage genre in a very special way. It's short and easy to watch and highly recommended. And once you're finished...
You ready for this?
Creep 2 begins much like the first film before immediately turning the tables on our expectations. It knows the audience is watching a sequel, making the whole experience even more unnerving. The film is actually funnier this time around, some dark comedy peppered in an otherwise unsettling experience. Watching these back-to-back makes the series feel chaotic and playful, with a third entry possibly on the way. These are some fun, clever found footage films, and if you're a fan of the first, definitely check out Creep 2.
This is gonna be a good day.
The Transfiguration stands tall among the best modern vampire films in recent years. The character Milo is a young, black teenage boy who happens to be a vampire. How it relates to his world is extremely interesting, and it's what makes this film special. The vampire moments are only heightened by the emotional undertones that are found in his daily relationships, specifically with his girlfriend Sophia and his brother Louis. As far as indie horror goes, The Transfiguration is a revelation. If you like indie horror, please check this out. There's a novella-like quality to Cold Skin in its storytelling, but through the lens of a survival horror film, with a heavy dose of monster action. The blending feels a little conflicting at times, but there's enough compelling and interesting moments to really stick with it. Ara Garrido is great as the main film's creature performance, as well as Ray Stevenson, whose menacing presence is always felt whenever he's on screen. The siege set pieces are cool, and the monster effects are great up close, with some killer night shots during the battles. If that sounds awesome to you, definitely check out Cold Skin. The Ranger is a throwback slasher that doesn't take itself too seriously. This one is memorable for several reasons. The characters in this film are super unlikable, making their demise all the more satisfying for genre fans. The soundtrack swaps in some punk rock to fuel its mayhem, and finally, it features a type of slasher that's plucked straight from the 80s. Despite the familiarity, The Ranger proves that it's got a few new things to share with its titular character. Fans of fun, silly little slashers will enjoy this. Definitely check out The Ranger.
Gotta keep the forest clean.
If you wanted your slashers a bit more serious, then this German film is where it's at. After witnessing a serial killer from her window, former Thai kickboxer Özge is forced to fend for herself when it's obvious that the authorities aren't interested in her plight. This cat-and-mouse horror thriller is no nonsense from beginning to end, carried by an incredibly fantastic lead performance by Violetta Schurillo, her eyes and expressions saying everything when her fists and kicks aren't doing it. Cold Hell builds to an incredibly satisfying finale that's simply fucking awesome. Highly recommended, one of the best I've seen so far this month. Definitely check out Cold Hell.
Hat mich gesehen.
The Endless is the type of movie I wish had a bigger budget, so the filmmakers could take their grand ideas and provide something truly unforgettable. Instead, it respectively plays by its own rules, down to its mini-universe that fans of the directing duo will deeply enjoy. At first, it's frustrating at the decision of 2 brothers deciding to visit their former cult. Only near the second half does the film kind of swerve into a headier territory than what the setup initially suggests. The film is admittedly a little rough around the edges in some areas, but Endless is applauded for its ambition.
There's something out here, isn't there?
So once again, thank you for watching. We got more coming next week and the week after that, so please stick around. I am your host, Hanajun Chung. Special thanks to Chris Sainz and Austin Smedley for support. Follow me on Twitter at Hanajun and follow the Baseline Magazine at TBLM. So, until next week, stay spooky, y'all.